My name is Sarah Otto, and I'm on the pastoral team at Ignatius House. Scripture truly is a dynamic, living text. I'm always amazed how one reading can invoke memories of the past as well as current realities in our world. A line in the middle of the reading from Zechariah, "I will whistle for them and gather them in," immediately evoked wonderful memories of Coach Lambros, my elementary PE teacher. It also reminded me of my grandfather, who my dad said could step out the front door of his house at night and whistle so loudly my dad could hear it blocks away where he was playing basketball with friends. He would hear the whistle and know it was time to come home for dinner. So too, God, our protector, our provider, calls us home, calls us to safety. God hears our cry and answers us. But I also can't help read these words apart from the current crisis in Ukraine. The theologian Karl Barth's often quoted advice to preachers was keep the Bible in one hand and the newspaper in the other. Since the Russian invasion began just over a month ago, over 10 million people have now fled their homes in Ukraine. Mothers, fathers, children, fleeing for their lives. Does God hear their cries? How will their hearts be cheered? When and how will God gather them in? The answer to these questions from an Ignatian perspective is not outside of us. God is not some distant force we are waiting upon for action. God is within us. And the invitation of our faith is to join Jesus in his ministry, to participate in the one saving act of God that is ongoing. In this Lenten season, the crisis in Ukraine reveals in a terrible way how Christ is still being crucified in our world today. People are suffering at the hands of others. Ignatius's third week of the spiritual exercises invites us to be with Jesus in his suffering, to console him rather than being consoled by him. It challenges us to see the vulnerability of God, and in doing so, recognize our responsibility. God needs us. This does not diminish who God is. Vulnerability is integral to God's self and God's creation. In his book, The Four Loves, C.S. Lewis wrote, "To love at all is to be vulnerable." And if we truly believe that God is love, then this vulnerability is intrinsic to the divine. Love is always unconditional, always vulnerable, or it is not love. And as Dorothy Day says in today's contemporary text, there can never be enough love in our world. Our world needs us. So be on alert. Listen for the whistle. Look for the signs for how God might be inviting you to respond to the needs of our day, to console those suffering, to answer the cries of the poor, to love and then love more. The Lord hears the cry of the poor. Will we?